Hi, I'm Celine, and I made these because I wanted them to exist. I used to think that I wasn't allowed to make something like this. Like, I thought that I needed somebody's permission. As a tattoo artist, I'm always designing and making things for people, but when I decided I wanted to make something that was kind of completely different that I've never done before, I definitely hit a wall. Thought, is this going to make sense? I was still afraid of being judged, and I still thought that I needed permission to do something like this. This video is how I broke through that wall mentally and creatively, and maybe it'll help you if you ever get stuck in that mindset where you think that you need permission to do things. You don't have to wait for permission. Just make what you wish existed. That's a pretty wild mental block to feel like you need permission to make something nice. And I don't know what it is, if it's just like fear of being judged from like clients or friends or like peers, where you kind of think like, who am I to do this? And you just need to draw pictures and be a tattoo artist. You don't need to make this silly skincare box. Like, who are you to try and sell this self-care mindset? And for me, I know that it comes from like deep-seated experiences of my past bosses or mentors, people that, you hold them in high regard, where you think that they want the best for you and that they should want to see you do things and be over the top and have great ideas. But the reality is, not everybody wants you to grow, because sometimes that means that you are not controllable. If you've been in the position before where somebody doesn't support your expansion, or you kind of feel like they're limiting your growth, then you need to make sure you're not putting too much weight on their opinion of things. Because if your gut instinct is telling you to go another way, do a certain thing, maybe you need to listen to that. And I had to let go of other people's approval in order to fully be within my power and creativity. If you're putting those limitations on yourself and your mind, then you are never going to grow. No matter how much you want to grow, no matter how much you want to expand, if you're still in those old crusty mindsets, you gotta give yourself permission. You can build your own self-trust. Where are you most capable? Where have you been super successful before? You don't need an entire committee to believe in you. Like, it's nice to have cheerleaders, but give yourself permission to make things and create things that you wish existed. Now, I can kind of break these up into a few categories on the process of how I turned this vision into a reality. There was the idea, there was the research phase, all the packaging, all the branding, the marketing, all these little important things that makes it so aesthetic and so cute. The idea of this, here's the thing, it's just body lotion and it's just a sugar scrub. It's nothing exciting. But I was selling more of like a mindset. Like, that was the core of this. In my industry, I think people are so complacent nowadays that they're just getting their cute little sticker. Everybody's got a tattoo and they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I've heard so many crazy stories of people not taking care of themselves before the tattoo and after the tattoo. That is very concerning. That was the foundation of making this. And just because tattoos are so commonplace, and I was hearing horror stories from other artists, and I had a few moments where I was just really concerned for somebody's lack of awareness that we are creating a giant wound on people. This is a pre-care box, right? You're not putting your sugar scrub on your fresh new tattoo. This is for the weeks and months coming up to your appointment. Again, I'm trying to develop and have a conversation about a mindset on self-care and awareness to this ancient old ritual that you're going to be a part of, that you're choosing to get this tattoo. The situations that I would see come up could be something simple like they have too much sun damage on their skin. They have a little bit of a sunburn before their appointment coming in, which means like, you're dehydrated, your skin is already compromised, I can't tattoo it. People in general just coming in like burnt out, tired, which means you don't have that strength to be able to sit through long appointments. And again, there is nuance to this, because when you come in for your teeny tiny little script tattoo, that's not the same thing as getting a 3 to 8 hour tattoo in one day. Like, those massive sessions take a huge toll on the body. When you're not caring for yourself, coming up to it, we can see the difference, or at least I can. Like, people don't have the fortitude to sit through those long appointments. If they're burnt out, tired, and they're not caring for their skin, like, their skin is dry, their skin is crepey, and there's a lot of nuances to that too, like maybe genetics or age or all these kinds of things. But there are things you can do to hydrate your skin, be cognizant of this huge wound that we're putting on you, because after your tattoo, I don't want to know that you're going and cleaning your horse barn the next day. That's not a good choice. Or that you plan to run a marathon 3 days later. That is not a good choice when you're getting these big appointments. I'm not trying to control your life, but while you're in my service and my care, I want you to be relaxed and happy and healthy and on the right vibe and level to come to their large appointments and to be able to feel strong and get through it, because it is mentally challenging, it's physically challenging, and unfortunately, like, your tattoo aftercare does not take care of your state of being at the appointment. That cares for the wound after. To get to the appointment and have strength and fortitude to get through it, that means that you're doing preparation with your body and your nourishment and your skin in the weeks and months prior. You cannot rehydrate your body by drinking 1 glass of water the day before, right? This is like long-term choices coming up to your tattoo. And especially when you're waiting all this time to get this tattoo, to have a consultation, to wait for the design, to wait for the tattoo appointment, you're saving up your money, you're sitting there for hours, it hurts, you're paying for it. Why not take the time beforehand to get the best possible outcome? I want the best possible outcome, and I want clients to be happy and healthy, and I want them to feel good during their appointment. So another struggle with this was the research phase and figuring out what I needed to do, because I've never made body butters or sugar scrubs before, but I spent a lot of time on YouTube and on Pinterest, and even calling my cousin who used to do a whole lot of markets, and she sold a lot of products like this. So in the beginning, I thought, well, the cheapest and best way for me to go ahead with this is going to be to make them from scratch. But you got to remember, like, that's a lot of research time to formulate, research, money invested to formulate the products so that you can have a good outcome for people. So then I realized that there was something called like white label products, where you can purchase pre-packaged or pre-made products and you can put your own label on them. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. This did not come without its challenges, though. Challenges with this were, I found it extremely difficult to find. Maybe it's just because where I live in Canada, there's not a lot of options, but I did many hours of Google researching, many hours of looking up companies. I even went on to Etsy, and because you're kind of breaking down price points and trying to figure out what can I sell this for that's going to make sense. Because keep in mind, I'm also doing this just for fun. I'm doing it just for me. Even though like it's an option that people can buy it, I'm still doing this as a fun side quest activity for me as an artist. So the price point has to make sense, and I want it to be like a good volume of product for people. So, at one point in time, I thought I sourced some white label products off Etsy, and they were from the States. And then I went to buy it and discovered that there was going to be a $300 shipping fee, which obviously completely decimates any sort of like product or financial, like this was no longer financially viable. I found another online white label supplier that seemed like it was going to be easy to order, and then when I went to purchase, they wanted some sort of like customs border GST like shipping number, which like I'm buying one package of body lotion. I'm not starting a storefront business here. Why? It doesn't have to be that complicated. It's just too much for me. At one point I did go to Vitahealth and buy a whole bunch of like shea butter and coconut oil. and products that I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try to make like a sugar scrub. So I made one and used it for a while. It was all right, but like I was still like, this is not the quality and caliber I provide to people. I want to make a really good quality, I want to make something really good. Obviously, the main component was the products. So as soon as I sourced those and ordered them, I could immediately start working out all of the aesthetic packaging, all of the colors, the branding, and the information. That was all going to be easy. I wanted it to be so fun and cute and aesthetic. It just so happened months before I decided that I wanted to almost like rebrand my tattooing aesthetic to a more like American trad vibe. I have a video on the banner that I designed, and I have a few videos where I discuss my mindset on that. I had so many mental hurdles to break through over the last year to feel free to do stuff, which sounds insane. I know that it's insane, but I know if I feel that way, other people have felt that way. Hopefully this conversation kind of helps you maybe break out of limiting mindsets or beliefs that you might have. And sometimes it is about turning down the noise of other people and other thoughts. Like for instance, this is adorable, but I definitely had people in my life that were like, oh, you're not going to make like more neutral colors, or you're going to make like different colors. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm making what I want. I am doing the epitome of this era and this vibe that I'm in right now. And that's the thing. You got to honor yourself and your own vision, and sometimes turn down other people's opinions. So we're going to open it. Every single part of this worked out perfectly. The first, and obviously maybe the most important element of this, is this information card. Not only did I want an image that was going to draw you in and make a person curious, I wanted it to be like electric fun colors that you basically couldn't take your eyes off. The information kind of draws you in with this lucky ticket and skincare and this adorable your ticket to a perfect tattoo. When you open it, it gives you my personal list of key points that are going to help you prepare for your tattoo. Drink water, exfoliate, moisturize, sleep, eat, and keep an eye on your skin, because clients rolling into their appointments with like bruises and rashes and stuff going on their skin, we need to know that beforehand, right? So I just wanted to open up that conversation of you need to be taking care of yourself with the basic requirements. When you flip it over to the back, it says consistency is key and that daily and weekly maintenance goes a long way. I also love this. It's a quote from Zoolander. This was so joyful to make. Again, I wanted a fun colored box that was going to match the banner and all of these little logo designs that I had made a couple months prior. So this is just the ingredient card and a thank you card that kind of goes with the vibe of all my banner and everything that I had made, along with my business card, down to the filler that I got at Dollar Tree. Like, I couldn't have designed myself a color that matched this perfectly. I had obviously made the labels and sent them out that matched the rest of the stuff. I had no idea I was going to find filler that matched so perfectly. Product, which is a huge amount of product. It's going to last somebody a really long time. Man, I am obsessed. The whole game plan on this entire vision was that I wanted to do the last tattoo convention different. I wanted to put a ton of effort in and have beautiful marketing, and my thought was like, even if people don't buy this, like, I am on a journey of enjoying the things that I'm creating, and I'm not limiting myself, and I'm not going to allow my mindset to like ruin my good time. And I will say, like, you know, I didn't sell a lot of these. I think it's a little bit too an out there idea in terms, because people just want aftercare, right? Like, I had a few of them sell, and the good news is, like, I love the product, so I will use them at home. The point was to make something that I wish existed, initial vision to completion, and I am so happy. The effort that I put into it. Artists need to make what they wish existed. Whether you're a full-time artist or you just do it as a hobby, this project like reignited my creativity, broke through a lot of blocks I had in my mind. If you have a vision of something, you gotta put it out there and you gotta make it real. In closing, I just wanna remind you that your ideas aren't stupid. They're not weird. And even if they are weird, there's going to be people that will appreciate that. So get out there and create stuff with joy and remove those limiting beliefs that you close yourself off with. And remember that you're the artist, you're the vision. If you can see it, then you have that permission to make it. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to keep up with all my crazy projects on what I'm doing, and we'll see you next time. Bye.